Welcome to the 13th video in this series, making a swarm shooter in 2D with C++ and Raylib. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to add the death animation to the enemy, so that'll be a second sprite, and then we're going to put some code in there to wait until that's finished and then deactivate the enemy so it can be reused. Before that though, I'd like to do a bit of a sort of quality of life, if you like, update to the code. The disabling of the cursor is a little bit annoying that sometimes, maybe for you as well, when I'm messing around with the app, I want to be able to use the mouse somewhere else on my computer, and when it's captured in the application, it can be a little bit annoying. So what we'll do is disable the cursor by default, but then we're going to put something inside the game loop so that we can free it and then recapture it again. Before that though, what we'll do is disable the exit key here. So we'll set exit key and null inside here, so escape no longer works. Instead what we'll do is we'll do some quit detection inside our game loop here and gracefully exit. So we'll take this is key pressed here and paste this here, and if it's a key, and I'm going to say Q in my case, I think I've still got that, then we're simply going to break out of our loop. And then below here, we'll use the escape key. So we'll say if is key pressed, and here key escape, and here we'll toggle the cursor. So we'll say if and is cursor hidden, then we'll enable the cursor, otherwise we'll disable the cursor. And that should make things, I think, a little bit easier to manage. So let's have a look. So I'm going to press escape here. That's better, that's freed up the cursor. Escape has captured it again, good. And then press the Q key to quit the application. Cool, all right then, so I'll close that down. So let's start animating our enemy. And notice whilst we're doing this, actually, we've got some yellow inside here somewhere, and we've got a null here. And I've realized here that should be key null, my apologies, not null like that. I'll press F5 just to build this again and run the application, and the yellow lines hopefully will go away. Okay, they have. Right then, so onto our enemy. Let's go into the enemy.hpp. So at the moment we've got our one sprite, which is looping our walking animation. Now we're going to have a sprite to play the death animation as well. To be able to know which one we need to play, we need to know what state, if you like, the enemy is in. So above the pre-definition of the class player there, we can make a new enum class enemy state, and we'll add here moving and dying. Then on the enemy itself, we can add in an enemy state, and by default, we can set that then to enemy state, and that can be moving. So we're going to use the state here to manage what the enemy is doing. Specifically, as things are now, it'll initially be moving, which means walking around, then it'll get shot, it'll go into the dying state, but at that point it won't be deactivated because we'll want eventually to play the dying animation, so it needs to be visible on the screen, but not detecting hits or anything like that. It's effectively just visuals. So before we do the visuals, what we'll do is make sure that we can manage this sort of pause. And to manage that, what we'll do is we'll add something called a dying timer down here. And then at the top here, what we'll do is we'll add a couple of functions that can be called from outside to understand whether an enemy can be hit or not, because if it's in the dying state, we don't want to hit it, and also to be able to kill the enemy as well, which will put it into the dying state. So we're going to add that, I think, below the is alive. So we'll add a void kill. Then a bool can be hit. And that will return the state is equal to enemy state moving. So I'm going to take the kill, and then we can go to the implementation for the enemy, and we'll do this below the constructor, I think. So the first thing we'll check is if we're already dying, because if we are, then we don't need to do this. So we'll say if state is equal to enemy state dying, then we'll simply return. Otherwise, we'll switch into the dying state, and then we'll set our dying timer, which can now be, let's say, 0.6 seconds. And let's add ourselves a trace log for this as well. So we'll do trace log info, and we can say enemy killed. Now we need to be a little bit careful because when we activate our enemy, we need to make sure that we actually set the state of the enemy correctly as well. So inside here, we want moving. And now inside the update, we need to update ourselves dependent on what our current state is. So first of all, if we're not alive, we can just return. Otherwise, what we can do is switch on our state. So the first state here, we'll have the enemy state moving. Inside here, we want to do what we've been doing here. So I'll cut this code from here and drop this in here and just tab this across as well. That's better. Otherwise, in the case of the enemy state dying, we want to reduce our dying timer. And then I'm going to grab this line from here because it's very similar. If the dying timer is less than 0, then we want to deactivate. So you'll see what we're going to do is effectively kill the enemy when the enemy is hit. That'll put it then into the dying state. That then in the enemy update will cause this to decrease. And only when that's finished will we then deactivate. So we're going to have a little bit of a pause when the enemy is hit. We're not drawing any other sprite or anything like that at the moment. So we'll see the original sprite, but what we should see is a noticeable pause. So let's go back into the main.cpp and scroll down to where we're dealing with all the enemies and collisions and things. And here we're checking if the enemy is alive. We can now do a check and ask if the enemy can be hit. So we'll say if not, enemy can be hit, then we'll continue as well because the enemy can't be hit. Otherwise, we've collided with the enemy is alive, and the enemy can be hit. So what we want to do here is we want to kill the enemy rather than deactivate. And now what should happen when we run the application is we should see a noticeable pause now. So the enemy will just sit still and then just disappear. Death animation we're coming up to. Let's hopefully make sure the pause is there to start with. So I'll go back and shoot you. Excellent. Okay. See enemies 0 from 1 down the bottom. So we've now got 12 from 12. That's good. And I should be able to, yes, they're all pausing when they're shot now. Excellent. Cool. All right. Okay. You can go as well. And you can go. There's still some left somewhere. It says, oh, yep, we've got one here. And there's one somewhere else. No idea where it is anyway, but I'm sure you get the idea. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll kill you as well. Excellent. So Q to close that down and to close down the terminal. So now we know we can kill the enemy. We're still reusing enemy and we have this pause. And in that pause, we want to switch the animation for the death animation. Now the death animation is a little bit different in the way that it works, in the sense that we don't loop through the frames. And the way we have our sprite programmed at the moment is it's automatically looping through all of its frames whilst it's updating down here. It's resetting the current frame back to 0. So we need to make a little bit of a change to this. So we'll go to the sprite.hpp and we'll add a boolean here for loop. And that can be true by default. And then for non-looping animations, like the death animation, we're going to need to know when the animation has finished, because that's our signal then to be able to deactivate. So we'll add a bool and finished on here as well. And that can be false by default. Then in the initialization here, where we have something with some frames, which is this second one here, on the end here we'll add a boolean called looping, and that can have a default value of true. I've gone to multi-line here, otherwise you won't be able to see everything. There we go. So let's drop into the implementation then in the sprite, and we'll go up to the initialization here. And again, I'll go to a new line and we want the Boolean looping. So inside here then we can set the loop to be equal to looping. And then down in the reset down here, we want to set the finished is equal to false. And now inside the update here, if we're finished, we don't want to play anymore. So we'll say or finished, then we'll just return like with these two here. Otherwise we update our timer. And now if the timer is greater than the frame duration, we set the timer to 0, we increment the frame. Now, depending on whether it's looping or not, we restart the animation. So we'll put some curly braces here, and we'll say that if we're looping, we'll set the current frame to 0. Otherwise, the finish can be set to true. And we have to be a little bit careful with the current frame, because it'll basically have gone right along to the end here. So we'll set the current frame to be equal then to our frame count -1. So now when we play an animation that's not set to be looping, basically it will stop when it hits the final frame, and finished will be set to true, and all the corresponding updates won't do anything because finished is true. Before we go ahead and try this out, let's turn the looping off on the walking so we can directly see how things are working. And I've got to remember where we initialize this. It's enemy.cpp. Yeah, it's up here. So what we can do on the end here then is put false. So if we run the application, what should happen here then is it basically walks towards us playing the animation and then just slides with no animation at all because it's no longer a looping animation. So let's have a look. And yeah, it's sliding. Good. Goodbye. Okay, so we'll close that down and close that down. Let's remove the false from here, so it is looping again. And now we can start looking at the cockroach death, and I think that's called cockroach dash death, if I remember correctly. Yep, it's this one here. So I'll close this up. Let's go then into our resource keys, and we can call this then cockroach death. And then we need to go into the resource manager and load it up inside here as well. And we don't need to do anything else to the resources there. Let's go into the enemy.hpp, and we'll call this sprite now sprite move, which is going to break a few things. So going to the enemy.cpp, and I'm going to double click on that and then find that and replace that with sprite move. Replace all occurrences. Okay. Then let's go back to the enemy.hpp and we'll add it another sprite, and this is going to be the sprite death. Now let's go into the initialization, and then we'll take these two lines, and here we want then the cockroach death, and we want the sprite death, and put that here. And this one's a little bit different. If we have a look at this in the assets and go into the images, we have the cockroach death here. So we actually have 32 frames in here. So we've got 4 across and 8 down. So I'll close that down. So here we want to change this then for 32. And we can put this, say, at 64.0f. That will have the animation, I think, finishing before our sort of dying pause finishes. And on the end of here then, we want false to turn off the looping as well. So let's look at the other functions where we're going to use this. So we're going to use this in the kill here. So we've got our dying timer, and we can get a hold then of our sprite death, and we can reset it. And then down in the update, where we're dying, what we want to do is update our sprite death. So I'll put this here, and this is then sprite death. And now looking at this, we could actually just use whether this has finished to deactivate, couldn't we? Rather than using our dying timer. So let's actually do that. So let's get rid of the dying timer from here. And we'll go back to the enemy.hpp, and we can remove this as well. I'll do Ctrl+S to save. We will get some red lines here, hopefully, which shows us where it is. Here it is. So remove this as well. And then instead of this, what we can do is we can do if the sprite death dot and finished, then we can deactivate. Then going down a bit further, let's reset both of our sprites. And looking at the sprite reset here, I'd actually just like to go to this very, very quickly. Do we have the finished? Yes, we do. We have the finished equals false here. Then back into the enemy.cpp. In the deactivate, we don't need to do anything. In the draw, though, we need to draw depending on which state we're in. So if we're not alive, we can just return. Otherwise, again, we can switch. And I'm going to go up actually and grab the switch from up here because I didn't like the IntelliSense there. So I'm quickly going to grab this here, copy that, and go down to the draw and paste that here. So if we're moving, we'll draw out sprite move, and otherwise we'll draw out sprite death. And we can remove this from here and always draw the debug collider. And that should be everything we need. I'd like to make a quick pass through all of this to make sure it all looks all right. So when we deactivate, we don't need to do anything. We simply go off the screen, alive is false. When we activate, we reset both of the animations, so they're both at frame 0, both finished false. And we're selectively drawing each one based on the state here. Then inside the update, which is here, we're not advancing frames or anything like that unless we're in the correct state for the given animation. If we go up then to the retarget, okay, that's the same as before. If we go to the kill, this actually technically is not needed then, is it? Because it's activated already, or reset, sorry, already in the activation, but we'll leave it there anyway, so it's definitely reset when we've got the kill. And if we look at the initialization here, we're also okay. The looping is turned off. I'd like to just double check in the sprite. Okay, the reset, finished is false and current frame is 0. Okay, that looks all right to me. So we have done a lot there. I'm going to run the game and wonder what I've forgotten, if anything. But hopefully now when we shoot the enemy, we should see the enemy play a death animation and then disappear. So let's have a look then. Bullet, and yeah, it did. Cool, not bad at all. I'm quite surprised at that. Actually, I was convinced I'd forgotten something. But yeah, they're all playing their death animations now. I've got 12 of them in the game being spawned in. I'm going to kill these off and then actually see what happens when we respawn them, that they do actually start from the correct animation. So I'm going to do an L here. Yes, they did instantly. And they're playing the death animation again as well. Oh, that's really good. Really pleased with that. That's looking already quite good. We don't have sound or particles or anything. That's coming later on. But we've made really good progress actually there. We're sort of walking steadily towards a playable game. So I'll close that down and close down the terminal. And with that done, I actually think that's a good place to end this video. I was thinking about doing a bit of sort of refinement of the spawning as well, but we've already done a lot in this one. So I think it's a good idea to push that to the next video. So next video then, we'll have a look at actually swarming into it on top of the player and maybe putting some delay in the swarming. For this one, I think it's a good place to stop. Thanks so much for watching. Comments, questions welcome as always on YouTube. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.